Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the official European League of Football podcast. I am your host, Nick Alfieri, a.k.a. Nalf. Today on the podcast, we have got Tony Tate, a.k.a. Turbo Tate, wide receiver for the Panthers, and he has really stormed onto the scene of European football this year. After an extremely successful college career at Western Illinois, he is now dominating the European game as well, being near the top in many of the receiving categories. We had a great talk about many things, including the mindset you should have, not just in sports, but in life. I really enjoyed the conversation. If you guys enjoy these podcasts too, please feel free to give a thumbs up, a like, a share, or a comment here. We're working hard on these European League of Football podcasts, so give us a thumbs up there if you are so inclined. And now, without further ado, Tony Tate.
Appreciate you having me, man. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to talk to you because I've been watching you play, man, and I think a lot of people are just excited to have you in the league, and so people are excited to have you on. So, real importantly, first question, man. How do you pronounce the name of the city that you are in? Is it Wrocław? Is it Wrocław? How do you pronounce it?
Wrocław. So the W is a V in Polish, and then the L with the line through it makes a W sound. So it's it's Wrocław. Yeah, Polish is so hard, man.
Dude, that's crazy. Your pronunciation is pretty good though, man. That's pretty good.
It's funny because they've been telling me out of any import that's been here, really I got like the best Polish that they've seen. So I've been working hard to try to really just like integrate into the community, into the team, and just like really earn their respect that way, just learning their language. So I've been trying, man. But yeah, Polish is one of the hardest languages in the world.
Kudos to you, man. Yeah, that's super important as an import to have that type of mentality where you're kind of diving in and accepting of the culture and everything. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I do want to rewind it back a little bit and have you tell me a little about your football background. I saw in a couple interviews, you started playing early, like 5th grade and stuff. But can you kind of just walk me through your football background up and through college?
Yeah. So I really started in 5th grade. That was my intro to playing, organized football. It really started with the family, me and my brothers in the backyard and at the park. I've been training with those guys since, for as long as I can remember. So football is something that runs in my family. Both of my dad and my uncle, they played Division I at Northern Illinois University. So I come from a long line. All of my uncles, really everybody that I grew up around, they were all very football oriented. So it was always my choice. I was actually a better soccer player if you talk to people from my youth, but football was my passion. It was what I really wanted to do. So yeah, man, football really got started for me in 5th grade. Really, I started out playing a little like a wing back, running back, receiver type hybrid my first year, but always was kind of like a running back, receiver type of player. And then in middle school, I actually played quarterback. So I got to be around the game in a lot of different facets, from a lot of different angles and perspectives, just playing a lot of different positions. So from 5th grade really through high school, I played a lot of different positions, was always heavily involved in the return game as well, kick return and punt return. So from 5th grade to high school, I was in DeKalb, Illinois. That's where I grew up. That's where I really started out. And then started my collegiate career at Walsh University. I want to make a note of that because a lot of people, I don't know where it comes from, but it's not Walsh College. It's Walsh University. Okay. So I just want to clear that up because I've seen a couple of people that mention it as Walsh College. But I started out at Walsh University, Division II. Coming out of high school, didn't have any Division I offers. I actually went through a couple injuries through my high school career, so that kind of hindered my progression in that sense. But got an opportunity to play at a Division II school at Walsh University on a full ride. So that was the best opportunity that I had. I took it. I ran with it. Went there, played for a year, balled out, was all conference honorable mention on a 1-10 team. So that was, it was a tough season, but it was a lot. It was a lot of learning, a lot of progression, a lot of growth. And from there, then I transferred to Western, also on a full ride. So finished my career at Western Illinois University, is where I graduated from. But that's kind of just like my career from 5th grade to college. Went from Illinois to Ohio to back to Illinois. So I've been around a little bit.
Wow, man, I did not know that. I thought you went straight to Western Illinois, but you had this like real journey to get yourself there. That's pretty impressive, man. To kind of ball out at one level to get yourself up next to the next level is a super impressive thing. I didn't know that, so that's really cool. Okay, so then talk me through how you ended up in Europe. I know after your college career, which was very successful, by the way, you had a little stint in the IFL, I think, but then now you're out here in Europe. How did you end up out here playing in Poland?
You know, it's crazy for me to tell the story every time just because I know that I was just destined to be here. And I first got introduced to football in Europe in totality through you said you played in the GFL, right?
Yeah, man.
So the first team that ever reached out to me overseas was a team from Germany. So I was really just introduced to European football by the GFL. And then 2022. So I came out in the 2022 draft, didn't get picked up, didn't get a local day, didn't get a workout, mini camp. I didn't get anything. I got really no opportunity at all. So 2022 was tough. It was just a lot of trying to figure out myself, trying to figure out, what did the next steps look like for me. And I always knew that football was something that I was going to do. I always knew that the NFL was going to be my final destination, regardless of how long it took. I was somebody that, for me, my mindset was, some people that you try your best, sometimes your best isn't enough. I was somebody that, for me, it was no matter what it takes is what I'm going to do to get to where I'm trying to go. So coming out of 2022, I was, it was tough. I was never discouraged. I just knew that, man, it's like, here's another thing. Just like when you came out of high school, you had to go D2, had no respect from anybody. You had to go earn it. It's nothing different. I feel like that's just always been my journey. It's never been a red carpet journey. It's always been one that I just had to continuously prove myself and show that I'm somebody that I can perform and I can be a great asset to any professional team. So keeping that in mind, keeping that mindset strong, I just went through 2022. I was training on my own. I ended up signing with a new agent, went to a couple showcases, and with the new representation that I had got a company with, they had recommended that, the IFL was a better route than the ELF at the time, just because of the XFL partnership that they were just developing. So I played 4 games in the IFL this year prior to coming to Wrocław, but I had first got reached out to the Panthers organization last year when they had somebody get hurt. They were trying to bring me in. Then again, when they had Coach Christensen come in, he tried to sign me in November. And like I said, at that time, I had just got a company with the new representation that I had. So they encouraged the IFL. I had already kind of made a decision that I was trusting my agency. So we're going to go to the IFL. And then, 4 games through, I knew that I didn't. The IFL just wasn't for me. No disrespect to those guys. Go get your money how you get it. But I knew that I 11 on 11 outdoor football. I mean, I don't even feel like I really have to mention it that way. But that's just where I knew that I was supposed to be, is just playing traditional football. So after game 4, I had kind of already made a decision that I was gonna leave and go work with my trainer in Arizona with Chad Reeves, my personal trainer and my agent advisor. And like I said, man, it was really just God's plan, because that same day that I had played my last game, the Panthers reached out to me again. They're like, "Hey, man, are you looking to into any other football opportunities? You looking to come overseas?" And I was like, "Man, yes, like I'll leave today. Like what's up? I'll hop on a plane today."
So it wasn't. Sorry to interrupt. So it wasn't like you knew concretely that you were going to come out to Poland when leaving the IFL. You just felt, no, I know that this is not the right path for me. I'm going to take a leap of faith and go train again, and then just coincidentally that happened that same day.
The same day. It was a Saturday. We played that game on a Saturday. I think it might have been like March 29th, but we played that game on a Saturday. I had already spoke with my people. I spoke with, my agent and everything. And I was like, man, just because the IFL was supposed to be a gateway for guys to continue to progress on, whether it was the USFL, the XFL. And I had some good film from the jump. So I was looking like, man, I'm for sure going to get noticed off of the tape that I've already put out. I had a kick return the first game. I had 2 touchdowns my first game in the IFL. So I was like, I'm for sure going to get some opportunity to progress on and to move up. And after game 4, you know, it was kind of like the back end of the XFL season. They didn't have anybody that was really getting moved up. I was only focused on myself and what my progression was. I didn't get moved up. So I was like, man, I mean, if the XFL season is about to be over, you know, the Panthers came at literally, it was just divine timing. They came in and reached out to me for the 3rd time. And it was really just 3rd time was the charm. And then here I am.
Man, that's how you know you're probably where you're supposed to be right now. That seems to work out perfectly. Okay, so man, that's crazy. What was your expectation of the European League of Football before coming here, and were your expectations exceeded, or were you surprised by anything coming out here playing in Poland and playing in the ELF?
I was very pleased with the opportunity to travel. That was something I was extremely interested in, just because outside of football, traveling is my number one hobby. It's my I would say it's probably like my number one passion. So coming here, I was thrilled just to be here. Like, seriously, I was so thrilled just to be in another country. It was my first time leaving the States. So I was thrilled just to be here. And then once I got to be around the team, like very quickly, this organization became the best team that I've ever played on, that I've ever been a part of. So my expectations were exceeded in that aspect of just the camaraderie of the team, the organization, just everything that was going down in Wrocław. I was very pleased and excited to see, you know, what the culture looked like, especially as we were building a different and a better culture than they've already had. So I was my expectations were exceeded with that aspect of the organization. And then when I got on the field, just coming to find out that there was a lot of previous NFL players that are currently playing in this league. I really had no idea how many guys, even, you know, for our first game versus Hamburg, finding out that their safety had played for the Redskins or wherever he played for. I was like, man, there's guys out here that they play in the league. I'm like, well, bet, let's go. Like now I'm really gonna go show. Like if there's guys that were in the league that are playing in this league now, and I go make plays on them, I just feel like, man, that just solidifies even more. I'm somebody that I can compete with those guys. So I was very thrilled to see that as well. And just honestly, just surprised at how many great players there were in Europe. There is a lot of great players out here in Europe playing ball, and man, they're really hooping for real, really out here getting it. So my expectations were exceeded in that aspect as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's cool to be, you know, playing against like guys that were in the NFL previously or had NFL experience that are in the league. I mean, they're all over the league. And then, you know, it's becoming more common that guys will be getting opportunities back in the NFL from the ELF. And then, of course, all the homegrown guys, the local talent from different countries. Man. It's a cool thing, isn't it, man? It's cool to see. Like I had no idea when I was coming over here to Europe, like, man, you guys are really good at football, because we only really hear about football in the United States growing up.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And just seeing a lot of, like, that was the thing that was probably the most surprising to me, was just seeing some of the homegrown guys, like, man, like across the league, like there's guys that are really out here getting it. I want to give a personal shout out to my running back, David. Man, he is a baller. Like he is a dude. Like, and not just to mention him, there's a lot of guys on our team that are great, but I mean, him being the number one leading running back in the league right now, I mean, that's amazing to have that come from a homegrown guy. So, man, big ups to my guy, David, for real. Big ups to him.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's a really cool thing. Okay, so you're obviously a standout receiver, balling out, making plays all over the field, and returner as well. What gives you the most satisfaction as a player? What type of play? Getting the ball on, you know, like a little end around reverse, grabbing a short screen and taking it 60 yards to the house, or toasting somebody on a deep route? What do you personally like doing the best?
To be honest, I really just want to make somebody look stupid. However it happens, if I can show that, you know, my speed is superior, if I can show that my playmaking ability is superior, that's really all that I'm looking for. So I've been extremely blessed and grateful that I've had a plethora of opportunities to be able to show in a lot of different facets of the game that I can be impactful, taking, you know, a whip route to the crib for 50, you know, running past guys in double coverage for 75, or, you know, taking an intermediate route, whatever it is, any way that I can go and be a great asset to my team, and to really just make an impact on the game, and just have, you know, those special plays. Any way that I can go out there and really just make a special play, I'm eager to do. But I would definitely say I like the short plays that turn into the long plays, and you just show that you got that yak ability. Those are the plays that are probably the most fun.
Yeah, man, those are great. Those are, as a former defensive player, that's always my biggest fear is guys like you that make us look stupid. So I'm happy we don't have to play against each other, and instead we just do a podcast together. That's great. I saw also in one of your interviews you talked about like a quote that you love is, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I can't remember who originally said that, maybe like Henry Ford or somebody back in the day. But it's a great quote. I love that. And it's clear that you have this mentality. Can you kind of just speak on this quote and what it means to you and the mentality that you have and maybe what you would say to younger guys who are coming up trying to be the best football player or athlete they can be?
Absolutely. That's something that, man, I really do live by. And it was something that it was a mindset that I continually cultivated through, from the beginning of my career. But just, everybody goes through life. Everybody has things that they go through that you are a product of your experiences. And, I'm just sharing my experience. My experience was one that I just continually had to grow. I continually had to be at the top of my game all the time to kind of just get that recognition. And for me, it was something that in every matchup that I've ever had, I've always been the smaller guy. Whether it was high school, college, I mean, especially now in the pros, I'm getting matched with a linebacker, corner, sometimes the corner and the safety and the linebacker, whoever it is. But those being the smaller person in those matchups and in a game that takes a great amount of physicality and tenacity and, just everything that this collision sport comes with, it was something that for me, it was like, man, if I don't believe it, it's definitely not going to happen. And I feel like that goes for anything, for all young athletes, for athletes in general, or anybody that's pursuing any craft. I say just as a success principle in general, anything that you want to do, if you don't believe that it's going to happen, no one else is going to think for it to happen for you. And that was just something that I just always had to keep in the forefront of my mind is, man, just stay focused, stay disciplined, continue to work on the things that is going to help to cultivate me into the best version of myself on and off the field. And that was something that was just extremely important and something that my mom has continuously echoed to me. And, got a great support system at home. My mom and my dad have just always been extremely supportive, just to have me to be that type of person. And on top of that, I wanted to be not a symbol and an example for other people to see. It's like, man, if me, a 5'8", receiver at 175 pounds, whatever I might weigh that day, if I can go on a football field, on a professional football field and dominate, who's to say that you can't go dominate at whatever it is that you want to do? It doesn't matter what limitations other people put on you. It matters what do you think of yourself and do you think for yourself? That's something that I've always, something that I will forever be proud of is that I've never been a follower. I've always been a leader. I've always thought for myself and I've always made my own decisions. And that's something that, I would encourage any young guy, any young lady, any young athlete, man, continue to just stay focused on what it is that you want to do, focus on what your goals are. And when you focus on yourself and you speak those things into existence and you talk about those things, other people are going to talk about you. People are going to talk about you when you're something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And that was something that I learned from a very young age. It was just like, I was always very focused on putting the things that I wanted out into the universe and just speaking positively about myself and of others. But, that wasn't always the response that I got. And I think it definitely shows now in where I am in my career. It shows that, that was the right mindset to have, just to continually focus on just getting better every day. Whatever it is that you do, just get better every day, continually just stay focused, stay disciplined. And, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. For real. Like whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I just, for me, I was never going to think myself into anything that I didn't want. I've seen, from my community, a lot of people that could have, a lot of people that should have. And I never wanted my story to be, yeah, man, I could have did this. I could have did that. I wanted to be the person that was like, no, I made it happen. I am, I stayed true. I stayed consistent and, it's showing. And I just, that's the biggest thing that I want, young people to see is like, you can. It doesn't matter what anybody else has to say. You can. But if you don't believe you can, it's not going to happen. Believe in yourself first. Bet on yourself first.
Absolutely, man. Man, I love that right there. I just resonate 100% with everything you just said. It's so important. Mentality is so important. It's you can when you run into adversity as well, like you have when you ended up first going to Division 2 and then fighting your way up to FCS. Like, if you don't have this mentality, it's going to be tough to overcome some of these obstacles and battle through adversity and to keep elevating yourself. And it's that mentality that keeps you elevating. And it's so clear, man, that you have it. And just the way that you've gotten yourself to where you are right now and the way you're playing, it's a really cool thing to see, man. Last question. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
NFL. Absolutely. The NFL. And just continuing to build myself outside of my football career as well. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18, started college. So just to continually just to build myself, my mom always told me, have multiple dreams, have multiple dreams, have multiple dreams. And that's something that where I am now, I'm really starting to see, what she meant when she said that. Just because, football, especially football, sports in general, but football, NFL stands for not for long. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, I'm just so blessed to be here. Really, just trying to make the best of this opportunity, the most of this opportunity, and enjoy every moment. That was something that I really had to learn growing up and coming up in sports. And another thing that I would really urge, all my young athletes, don't focus so much on what's to come, because it's going to come regardless. And if you stay ready for the moment, you'll be ready for the moment when it comes. And for me, I was just somebody that I was always just very fixated on tangible things, trying to break this record, trying to get these many yards in a game, trying to score these many touchdowns. And, a lot of those things are out of your control. You got to control what you can control. And when I really started to understand what that meant, my life started to change. My game started to change. And I've really just been trying to just control the things that I can, be the best version of myself at all times. And, I'm on my way to the NFL for sure. I know I am. I'm on my way, and just continually trying to build more things outside of my football career as well. So in the next couple of years, I see myself, man, doing some huge things in my community, doing some huge things in my family. I know my parents are not going to be working for too much longer. So that's the path that I'm on right now. That's what I'm working on right now, is just to build my community, to really build my community in strength, build my community in love, to continue to spread love. And however that looks, I didn't know that this journey was going to bring me to Poland, but here I am, and I'm still living the dream. I'm still, fulfilling my soul mission, doing what I'm supposed to do, and spreading love and encouraging others. So however I can continue to do that while making my way to the NFL, it's going to happen. And that's what we're doing.
Perfect, man. I 100% believe it, man. The Panthers are lucky, and the league is lucky to have imports like you doing a bunch of stuff and bringing good, positive stuff on the field and off the field for the league and for the team, man. So that's great. I'm super excited to see your journey continue to develop, and good luck to you guys and the Panthers for the rest of the season, man.
And thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your time, the invite, the opportunity to come on the podcast, man. You're doing some great stuff. Watched a couple of your other podcasts. Doing a great job for sure. So I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Thanks a lot, bro. I really appreciate that. All right, brother. I'll talk to you.
Have a good one.
See you, man.